Welcome to our series 19 Hospitality Questions on COVID 19. And we've gone so far, but incidentally, today we have a question that revolves around the world of travel. Ashrak, we've had these new terms that have suddenly sprung up. Things like travel bubble, air bridges, travel corridors. And I guess there will be a lot of people who will be interested to know how do these terms differ, each one in its own purpose. So can you perhaps tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, yes. Okay, now as we all know, COVID 19 has wreaked havoc on the tourism industry. There have been job losses in possibly the millions across the globe, salary cuts, and many more compromises made by all those employed in the industry. However, when you take the industry from the point of the traveler, the tourist, it is not essential per se. Because if we take what's known as Maslow's hierarchy, which was a 5-step hierarchy, later developed to 7 steps, which looks at from the basic right up to the self-actualization needs of a human being, your bottom 2 levels are safety and security and basic needs. Basic needs is right at the bottom, which is your air to breathe, food to eat, water to drink. Then you have security, which is law and order, being secure, healthcare, all those things are in the bottom 2. Do you notice that tourism is not in the bottom 2? But the fact is, during a pandemic, everybody looks at the bottom 2. Nobody is going to be thinking about self-actualization and ego needs and even socializing needs. Socializing needs are level 3 on the hierarchy. So, where does that leave tourism? Well, it leaves it in a fairly vulnerable place because people are not going to be thinking of travel and tourism. Now, as of recording this video in August, local tourism in Sri Lanka has commenced on a somewhat cautious note. You have throngs of people going to hotels, throwing safety and caution to the wind. You have those who are a little selective, going to smaller rather than larger properties. So local tourism has commenced. But regional and global tourism is off to a very slow start. Because, as you know, traveling between countries is increasing the risk somewhat. Look at Vietnam, for example. They've had a resurgence after opening up their borders. Look at Victoria. As we write this, just yesterday, Victoria declared 6 weeks of nightly curfews. So COVID 19 is far from over. With that, we have seen 3 terms pop up: travel bubbles, travel corridors, and air bridges. So let's take travel bubbles. A travel bubble is it's literally a bubble among geographically close countries that allow relatively unhindered travel between them. You would have heard on the news, Australia and New Zealand have been talking about a travel bubble for a very long time now, since I think April or even May. Now we don't know how effective that will be given the recent happenings in Victoria. And the European Union as well has been talking about some travel bubbles among certain countries. What a travel bubble offers, as I mentioned, is the relatively unhindered travel, because at the moment, if you go from country A to country B by air or land or sea, you have quarantine at both ends. Say you're going from Sri Lanka to another country on holiday. If you manage to go to that country, you will have to go into quarantine at that country, which is typically a 14 days quarantine, before you start your holiday even. When you return to Sri Lanka, as we are seeing with many of the repatriation flights that come in, the people have to go into a further 14 days of quarantine here at a quarantine camp or at a hotel, depending on their income level. And after that, self-quarantine themselves at home as well for a further 14 days. So imagine you go on your holiday, and before you start your holiday, you got to spend 14 days in a quarantine camp or even a hotel room, locked up in the room having meals placed outside your door. Now that's not a very nice holiday, is it? Not to mention it's extremely expensive. Imagine having to spend what is effectively a month on hotel stays at both ends. So with travel bubbles, this is not necessary because they are typically set up with countries that have low rates of COVID prevalence. And in a travel bubble, all that is usually needed is proof of a PCR test within usually 72 hours or 48 hours of boarding your flight that shows that you are negative for COVID. When you land at your destination, you will be subject to another PCR test and you may have to wait anything from a few hours to 1 day to get your results. Still a far cry from 14 days. And if you are negative after that test, you are free to go on your holiday. The reason for this is 20% of those who are infected, according to studies, don't even know it because they don't feel anything, they don't show anything outwards, but they are infecting people. So that is where travel bubbles between countries that have low rates is one way to restart global tourism. Now, how do you move within a travel bubble? That is where two things called travel corridors and air bridges come into play here. A travel corridor is basically a land corridor. It can be sea or rail. If we were to take an example of the Channel Tunnel between the UK and France, that would, if a travel bubble were established between UK and France, the travel corridor would possibly be the Channel Tunnel. Now in Sri Lanka, we don't have land links to anyone right now. So our only option is an air bridge. An air bridge is basically a travel corridor in the air. Direct point-to-point air travel between the two countries. The key word here is direct. You must not have a transit or stopover of any kind in a third country because that opens you up to risk of exposure. I believe we had a video where we spoke a bit about the dangers of transit passengers. So the moment you insert a transit, you open that risk. So right now at the time of recording this video, the proposal to open the airport to tourism is September, which means that at this stage, we really need to be identifying who are going to be our travel bubble partners. And we should not just look at the closest ones. For example, our nearest neighbor India is facing a massive COVID-19 pandemic, which they are handling as best they can, but their sheer population doesn't make it any easy. Look at the Maldives on the other hand. They have opened up global tourism already to all countries. They can do that because each resort is geographically distant by sea. So you have a pandemic on one island, it's very easy to control that the in and out from that island. So Maldives could be one location that we could look at. Even Singapore, while Singapore is facing their own significant COVID-19 numbers, they are also managing it far better due to several reasons. Discipline, management, healthcare facilities, all those things. So we need to carefully look at who our travel corridor partners are going to be, bearing in mind that when we establish the air bridge to allow them to connect, it has to be a direct air bridge. We cannot have links. For example, we cannot say we are going to have a travel corridor with some country in North America or even Hawaii or one of those countries simply because there is no possible way that we could travel between there directly. So, to sum up what I have said, COVID-19 is pretty much here to stay. They are trying to develop a vaccine, correct? Until that vaccine is developed, or if it is developed for that matter, we don't quite know. So we cannot sit back and idly assume that a vaccine will be developed and things will be okay. All industries, including tourism, need to adapt. Because as people start getting used to the new normal of COVID-19, their Maslow needs will go up again. Socialization. Already we see socialization taking place with the new normal, social distancing. Maybe not in some cases, but most people in Sri Lanka at least have embraced it to some form. The next is going to be the self-actualization and those needs, and travel will be on the menu again. So, travel bubbles as we see it are the future of global tourism for the time being. So that is what I have to say about these three terms, and you're going to be hearing them a lot in the modern world.
So that's a very interesting narration of these three terms. Basically what has happened is the world of aviation, crossing borders, mobility between countries has been altered. If you were talking cricket, it means that the boundaries have been altered and we have all been hit for a six. So we got to regroup and remember that travel, unlike previously, is not the same. You just can't pick a destination, pack your bag, connect your flight and go. You got to really see whether these travel corridors, whether there is an air bridge, is there a travel bubble, those all have to be taken into account apart from getting that visa. So the hassle of travel is going to be there. It's going to be even more intense. But it is starting. Hopefully, it won't be going 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. But if done properly, you can get from A to B, enjoy your holiday, come back to B, to your country of residence, and say, I'm back, I'm safe, and I'm going to get well. Or rather, I'm staying well. Now, if you do have any questions, please email it to us to reach us at hospitalitysrilanka.com, or there are several other ways that you can communicate to us by looking at the various links on social media, which will be shown immediately after I finish speaking. So send those questions in, because we are coming to the close of our series and we've had some very interesting questions thrown at us in the past. Keep it going. Have a good day. Stay safe. Thank you, Astra.
Thank you.